Hello, it's Thursday, June 6th of 2024, and today I'm here in São Paulo, Brazil at Luz Station, again, to get to Guarulhos International Airport by public transportation. There are two main ways to get to the airport from the center of São Paulo. The fastest is to take the hourly Airport Express. The service originates at Barra Funda to the west, and in addition to Luz, makes one intermediate stop at Guarulhos Secap just before the airport. Then, at least for now, passengers must transfer onto a shuttle bus to reach the airport terminals. Alternatively, if you just missed the express, let's say, you could take the line 710 hybrid service or line 11 to Brás, take line 12 to Engenheiro Goulart, then line 13 to the airport, and finally shuffle onto the shuttle bus. I think I'd rather just take the express. In late 2025, an Aeroporto train will open to connect the Guarulhos Airport train station to terminals 1, 2, and 3. I'll explain exactly what this is later in the video. Luz Station only has 4 mainline rail tracks, but they're all very well used. During the evening rush, platforms get extremely crowded, but metro-like trains on 2 different lines arrive frequently to alleviate the congestion. Each line gets its own designated track, which makes it very easy to get to the right platform, and is quite similar to many stations in Japan, or so I've heard. The signage to the Airport Express platform was clear and easy to follow, although a sign at the top of this escalator telling you to turn around would be appreciated. The service shares tracks through Luz with line 11 Coral to Estudantes in Mogi das Cruzes, which stops on platform 4. But since the platform frequently gets packed, the service now stops at a dedicated platform extension, designated platform 5, which was built in 2023. The entire combined platform, including the large unused sections to the east and west, is a whopping 700 meters long, only half of which is actually used. The new Platform 5 is lovely. The surface is nice and clean, and it's protected from the elements by a charming original canopy, a more modern canopy, and a massive road overhead. Additionally, there's a great deal of greenery along the platform in the form of ivy on the fences, and planters with grass, bushes, and trees. The platform also had brand new bathrooms, the only ones open when I was there due to a new foot tunnel being constructed between the train station and Metro Line 4. Near the bathrooms, you'll find a lactation room, which is always nice to see. There are also wooden benches, and although there aren't any live departure boards, there are digital clocks and timetables. As you can see, express trains depart on the hour, every hour, from 5 a.m. to midnight. The frequency is frankly awful, but I believe that there's just currently not enough track capacity to run more trains through Luz. At least, I hope that's the reason. The other shorter, less convenient line to the airport, line 13 Jade, runs more frequently at every 15 minutes on weekdays. The express is also used by people traveling to and from the city of Guarulhos, which is why many people waiting may not have any luggage. My train, now pulling in running on the left, a remnant from the line's British origins, arrived 5 minutes late. Both the Airport Express and Line 13 Jade are operated using 8-car CPTM Series 2500 trains, the first in the city to have been manufactured in China. This is the only train I've seen here with buttons to open the doors, but they aren't used as of now. The trains are quiet, modern, and they have a clean design in my opinion. They're fully walk-through, spacious, and have a mix of longitudinal and transverse seating with several large priority seats in each car. The seats are all surprisingly comfortable considering how hard they are. The key differences between this train and all others on the network are the long racks that run down the length of the train above the seats, and the racks at the ends of each car for larger pieces of luggage. There are LED displays at the ends of each car, as well as large, bright screens over the doors full of useful information, and the line diagrams are appropriately mirrored to be in the correct orientation on both sides of the train. Love to see it. I also love that the digital advertisements are displayed on their own separate screens attached to the ceiling of the train. This allows CPTM to make money and advertise while not interrupting and blocking crucial passenger information. The only thing I didn't like about this train was that instead of having printed system maps, like on all the other trains, they instead simply have a QR code that takes you to the map online. Sure, maybe this is easier since they don't have to keep putting up new maps every time the system changes, but come on, let me just see the map if I don't have any cellular data or if I don't have a phone with me. Shortly after departing, the train passed through Brás Station, Luz's larger and more utilitarian counterpart. Although the train to the airport goes straight through, the return service does make an additional stop here. I don't know why this discrepancy exists. If you want to see the station in more detail, you can explore it on Google Street View, which I think is awesome. Same goes for Luz and several other stations in the region. After passing Brás, the train ran down this quad-track railway alongside lines 11 and 12, at some point having made the switch from interlining with line 11 to running on the line 12 tracks. This section is 6 tracks wide if you include Metro Line 3, which is also parallel and stops at several Metro-only stations along the line. Unfortunately, the train kept slowing down, speeding up, and occasionally stopping completely due to construction workers on the tracks. On the bright side, this gave me more time to enjoy the countless trains passing by on both sides. After passing Tatuapé, fun name to say by the way, we branched off from line 11 and began to make our way northeast with line 12 through some favelas. The train moved quite slowly through here because in addition to the construction, this section of track has relatively tight curves. From the train, I was able to catch a glimpse of these center-running bike lanes on Avenida Doutora Cicibero down below. Just before Engenheiro Goulart, the train came to a stop once more, and as you can see, I was starting to get a bit frustrated. We then split off from line 11 to join line 13 and passed through the station. Soon after, the vegetation became quite lush, and we started down the new elevated section of track to the airport, which opened not too long ago in 2018. The next point of interest was this beautiful cable-stayed bridge over the Ayrton Senna highway. Here's what it looks like from inside a car. After sailing over various highways and interchanges, we began approaching our first and only intermediate stop. The announcements were in Portuguese and English with a Brazilian accent.
Guarulhos acesso rodoviária. Desembarque pelo lado direito. Para sua segurança, fique atento ao vão entre o trem e a plataforma. Guarulhos Station, access to bus terminal. Exit on the right side.
Guarulhos Secap Station is named after the nearby Parque Secap neighborhood, which in turn was named after its developer, the Caixa Estadual de Casas para o Povo, or in English, the State Fund for Housing for the People. Finally, after a few more minutes of elevated running, the train arrived at Guarulhos Aeroporto station. The trip from Luz to Guarulhos took about 35 minutes. At a track distance of around 25 kilometers, the average speed was only approximately 43 kilometers an hour, or 27 miles an hour. Quite slow for an express train, although I do believe I got a bit unlucky with the construction delays. The airport station, just like Guarulhos Secap before it, is both functional and aesthetically pleasing. It has wide side platforms which can comfortably accommodate hundreds of passengers, plenty of windows for sunlight, and a slightly curved metal roof. From the north end of the station, you can look out at the abnormally long tail tracks, which is where the line will eventually extend east to the Bom Sucesso neighborhood of Guarulhos. Surprisingly, there's no signage pointing to the airport terminals from the platform level. However, once you go down the elevator or the escalator to the large mezzanine level below and exit the station, signage becomes abundant. Many arriving passengers were not making their way to the airport, but instead to the nearby bus terminal to connect to buses traveling elsewhere in the city of Guarulhos. I, on the other hand, was guided down this elevated walkway with well-maintained blue tactile tiles to the airport shuttle buses, which also provided some nice views of the Hélio Smith Highway. Smith? At the end was the escalator down to street level, but before going down, I decided to check out the station bathroom. It was very clean, and everything was working and stocked up as it should be. I love how all CPTM train stations have bathrooms, although the quality and cleanliness can vary. Outside the bathroom and behind the escalators were these orange-red hoardings that were covering the future platforms of the Aeromóvel to the terminals. An Aeromóvel is an atmospherically powered automated people mover, which was developed in Brazil in the 1970s. Rail vehicles with sails underneath, which will sit here on broad gauge rails, are propelled forward by pumps along the line that blow air through the hollow concrete girder. The line will be mostly single-tracked, with one passing loop in front of the cargo terminal, and it will run every 6 minutes. After admiring the hoardings and the tracks, I went down the escalator to the semi-temporary bus platform. Directly in front of the bus boarding area was this large sign, which showed what airlines operate out of which terminal. Very useful information. But what caught my attention was this down below, where it says estimated waiting time of 15 minutes. A 15-minute frequency? I guess it does align with the most frequent train service, but you need more than one bus per train, right? Anyway, when I was there was only one shuttle route, as you can see from this very professional sign, starting from the station, going to Terminal 1, then Terminals 2 and 3, back to Terminal 1, and finally back to the station. So unfortunately, this map here off to the side, although nice, was incorrect, although the estimated time of 12 minutes to Terminal 3 seemed somewhat accurate. The free shuttle bus waiting at the stop was a conventional Brazilian city bus, and had all 3 doors open for passengers to board through, the front 2 being step-free. Well, sort of step-free, there was still a gap. There weren't any modifications to the bus to make it more suitable for an airport shuttle operation. No luggage racks, or really any dedicated space for luggage at all. The back half of the bus was 2 steps above the front, and although I usually don't mind, airport shuttle buses should ideally be entirely step-free. Not too long after I boarded, the bus started moving forward with the doors open, quite common around here actually, and it had to back up a bit to make it around this very sharp bend. After only a few minutes, we arrived at Terminal 1, which is only actually 500 meters away on foot, but not before hearing this trilingual announcement and jingle.
Terminal 1. Terminal 1. Terminal 1.
I decided to get off at Terminal 1, the airport's domestic terminal, because I had never been there before. Terminal 1 is extremely small and is only served by Azul Airlines. It absolutely does not feel like you're in the airport of a metro area with more than 20 million people. It looks more like a small city's bus terminal. After crossing the road on this raised crosswalk, I was able to see the future people mover sitting in the Terminal 1 station, and I noticed for the first time how small the train and station is. I really hope that there won't be any capacity issues later down the line. I walked back to the shuttle bus stop and hopped on the bus headed towards Terminals 2 and 3. But first, which air company have you taken recently? This bus was packed. I'm assuming a train had just arrived at the station, but at least I was able to get this amazing view out the front window, and a view of the cab. We passed through Terminal 2, which actually has 2 shuttle bus stops, west and east, and pulled into Terminal 3, where I got off again. I stepped inside the terminal and collected my thoughts. Overall, the Airport Express is, as of the release of this video, an acceptable service that has a lot of potential for improvement, some of which is already underway and/or planned. The best feature of the line has to be the Series 2500 rolling stock, which is very well suited for this type of service. No changes needed. The route and station served also make sense. The most critical improvement, which is nearly complete, is of course the people mover. It will address the current last mile issue by improving both passenger comfort and the speed of travel between the train station and the airport terminals. Another key area for improvement is frequency. An easy way for the service to become a more viable option for passengers is to make the service run more often. Encouragingly, there do seem to be plans to double the number of trains per day to run every 30 minutes. In my opinion, the ultimate best way to connect the city center with the airport would have been to extend the rail line through a tunnel underground with a station serving Terminals 2 and 3, but that would have been extremely expensive and would have taken much, much longer to be completed if it was ever pursued. Anyway, that's all from me for today. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and maybe subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!